Fed rate decreases coming up supposedly in September. Somebody's even talking, a lot of people are talking about emergency decrease if the market gets out of hand here. After that 1,000 point drop the other day, people were calling for the Fed to do an emergency rate drop. Some people are saying 0.25%, 0.5%. Hey, but anyway, it's you got to look at it this way. Who got us into this mess, right? The Fed. The Fed got us into this mess, and your expectation that they're into this mess. Oh, right? Hold on here. And if you're expecting them to get us out of this, you're mistaken. The only thing they're going to do by lowering the interest rate is make the dollar more unattractive to international countries. They're gonna ding the dollar. You'll see silver and gold go up. I'll guarantee you that you'll see silver and gold go up. So another reason to buy precious metals. Do I have any here? What did I do with my precious metals? Hey, got one right here. Look at this. So get yourself some precious metals, folks. There you go. Get yourself some of this. And actually the price is down. I was just looking. It's like $27.50 now. It was up to $31, heading to 32 just a couple of weeks ago. Now it's down to 27. So you can, now's the opportunity to collect a little more of this if you can. Hope you're having a good Sunday. This is the DJ from Land Cruiser Midwest. Hope you're having a bell ringing weekend. Yeah, bell ringing. And where's my sound machine? It's all about the buck. The banks will be happy to see the rate go down. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've been riding that CD rate train for the last 2.5, 3 years, up to 5.25%. I've been buying monthly CDs for forever. It's been kind of sweet, 5% guaranteed interest with zero risk. Pretty sweet. Wall Street will love the rate going down because they're going to then see more money flow into Wall Street, I guess. But hey, Wall Street's overbought. I'm telling you right now, Wall Street's overbought. The risk level, the VIX, if you guys monitor the VIX is at like 60 now. That's ridiculous. Yeah, there's just so much money and very few stocks in the stock market. The tech industry is way overbought. Be careful. It's like going, the stock market at this point is like going to a casino. Yeah, going to a casino. Let's see who we got on commenting today. Mayhem from Allstate, Trump 2024 Texas. Hey, I don't know who you are, but I used to work for the good hands people. The good hands people, the blue babies, or whatever you want to call them. I used to work for the good hands people. I got some good stories about the good hands people. Maybe I'll do a video on that next. Yeah. Speaking of screwed up companies, yeah. Check out my videos this week of Charles Schwab and JP Morgan Chase and my interactions with them. It doesn't surprise me. These companies, and then I read later a couple days later I read that my friends at Chuck are moving some of their IT development jobs to India, which the good hands people have been in India for a long time. Mayhem from Allstate, if you know that. Um, when I worked at Allstate, they were moving lots of jobs to India, and it productive work came to a screeching halt. Just doing the menial task in a day became much more difficult because of the moving work and effort to offshore, and it was crazy. It took three times the effort to do something once they implemented usage of resources in India. Just saying, just saying. And that's the reason why I don't miss IT jobs anymore. Last couple of jobs that I had, at least the last one, because of the nature of it, was a not for profit, and it dealt with some government subsidies and stuff. They couldn't offshore their jobs; they had to be onshore. So that was a blessing in disguise there. Um, Sick boy, yeah, watch your back. Well, why? I'm prepared, sick boy. I'm prepared. Um, I have no, nobody holds anything over me at this point. I'm debt free. I've got everything paid for. I got money in the bank. I got money close to me too. So, kind of hard to control me at this point. You ever heard of the First Amendment? Yeah. So we got lots of good corporate stories we can tell you. Um, didn't seem funny at the time, but now that I look back, some of these stories are quite humorous. Quite humorous, and make what I went through this week seem like child's play. Seem like child's play. So one entails sending a $9 million check to a customer potentially. It was one person's dropping something in the mail that would have caused a $9 million test check created by a test system going in the mail to an actual customer. That would have been interesting. That would have been interesting. And the story before how that all transpired is kind of interesting too. There's one story that I can tell you. Um, Another one is how, I don't know if I have any post-its here. I did a video on this a couple of years ago. They found out they had an issue with adjusters writing themselves checks, and they spent like $1 million creating a new system and trying to plug that hole. And then after they spent $1 million on that system, they found out that the whole system could be circumvented by a post-it note. A 1 cent post-it note could cause the $1 million system they created to be worthless. That's corporate America for you. Corporate America. Corporate America. A post-it note could deem a $1 million system pretty much ineffective. The controls on the system ineffective. So there you go. So yeah, look for the Fed to start decreasing rates. Some people are saying 0.5%. Wall Street's going to put on the pressure to keep them going down as quickly as possible, as fast as possible. You're going to see a lot of oh, lot of stuff in the media. The Wall Street's going to want, like, oh, let's bring it down 1%. Let's bring it down 1.5%. I mean, they're going to try to rally for the biggest cuts that they can get. It's going to make the banks a little bit better, but hey, we've got 22 banks that are in trouble right now. That's the Fed. The Fed has admitted that 23 banks are having problems. They haven't closed any banks recently, and I'll tell you why. Because the Fed doesn't want any banks to be forced to close. What the Fed has done the last 9 months is trying to force these banks that have issues to merge with other banks, merge with other banks. And I've seen that happen. My wife has a bank that's bought out a couple of smaller banks, and I went out and I checked at weissratings.com on those banks, and they were rated really poorly. So they were headed for failure, certainly, and I'm sure the Fed probably pushed them to do a merger with someone, and as opposed to going under. So I heard some people say that up to 300 banks are having issues. That seems kind of high, but it's possible. It's possible. Check out weissratings.com. They say at least 200. They're rating at least 220 banks as poor, very poor, like D or F. Um, so that's possible. That's out of like 5,000. There's 5,000 banks and like 5,000 credit unions. So be careful where you put your money, and check out your bank. Check out your bank. Ultimately, at this point, as long as you have less than the FDIC limit, they're gonna cover it for you. But the diff fund is running lean after the three that went under a couple of years ago, last year, year before. I mean, I don't know if you guys know that what it cost the diff fund for those three or four banks that it covered in the last year or two is more than what they covered for 254 banks during the great financial crisis of 2008, 2009. So we have less banks, and we have banks with a lot more exposure, a lot more assets, money. So when they go under, it's not just a little thing anymore. It's not the rinky-dink banks. There's far and few rinky-dink banks around anymore. There's been the last 10, 15 years, there's been a merging of banks and even credit unions. I mean, I banked at a credit union when I worked for Motorola. I was a member of the Motorola credit union, and they created their own new name, and they broke out from Motorola, and then they got sucked up by consumers. And I just saw there was a credit union around here in Northern Illinois and just got bought out by Great Lakes. Great Lakes Credit Union. They bought out somebody that was ready to go under, I believe. So merging of banks is happening. You just don't recognize it. I mean, you drive by the bank one day, it's got a sign up. Month later, the signs change. So it's still there. It's a different sign. So there you go. So as I said, be looking for gold and silver and precious metals to go up. Although our government has a tendency to try to control the price of gold and silver, folks. I don't know if you're aware of that. Um, the futures, whether the COMEX, they trade contracts that don't have to have physical silver or gold behind them. That's one way that they manipulate the price, right? Just like they manipulate the jobs and the GDP numbers and all that good stuff. I'm also telling you, look for those numbers, the job numbers, the GDP, all those government numbers to start to oh, become more truthful after the election. They don't want anything to go bump in the night until after the selection election, folks. I'm here to tell you that. Like, share, subscribe if you would, please. Giving you guys a lot of good information here. So once the selection election is done, you're going to see those numbers go back to reality. You'll find out we are in a recession, or we have been in a recession for, probably a year. or more. Um, I mean, job layoffs. I mean, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm seeing people, young kids on LinkedIn who have been out of work for 9 months. I just saw that Dell Computers is laying off another 12,500 people. That this will be 24,000 layoffs in 1 year. They laid off a bunch of people in February, and now they're going to start laying some more off as we head to the end of the year. It's just unreal. On a daily basis, if you look at like Yahoo Finance or something, you see company after company. We're not talking about rinky-dink companies. We're talking about large corporate Fortune 1000, Fortune 2000 companies that are laying people off left and right. And I've been caught up in those layoffs before. They got to do what they got to do. They're doing a CYA. Also hearing that Stellantis is in a bad place. It looks like they're laying off another 2,500 production workers in Michigan. They're looking to stop production of the Ram pickup truck. Can you believe that? That should be like their biggest seller. The F-150 is Ford's biggest seller. You'd think the Dodge Ram would be just as well as a good seller, but for whatever reason, they're going to discontinue production in the United States. Some people are saying whether maybe they're going to move it to Mexico, but they've got such an overstock at this point. I also heard they have like 30,000 engines already built for trucks, and they're actually taking this next week here. Several of their parts factories are going on a hiatus for a week or two. They're not gonna be working. There'll be a week or two off, and they still have 30,000 motors sitting around. People aren't buying new cars and trucks unless they really, really have to. I don't know anybody who bought a new car in the last couple of years, really. Maybe one or two people. That's it. I keep my cars. I just had to take my car for emissions. I have three vehicles. I have a 2008, I have a 2011, and I have a 2015. I keep my cars. I buy nice cars and I keep them forever. Um, you have to throw money into them to maintain them, buy new tires, new batteries and stuff. But that's the cost of having a car. It's a hell of a lot cheaper than buying a new one these days. Car prices are through the roof after the jabby. Hope you guys know that. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. And if you go out and look at the dealerships here, there's just tons and tons of cars sitting on the lots. Okay, Racer X says Ram isn't Dodge anymore. From what I've heard, Ram is a separate from Dodge and the brand now, but don't know much about newer vehicles anymore. Yeah, well, they're saying that Stellantis is looking to sell some of their brands to China. I guess Stellantis is like from Spain or something. They're actually headquartered in Europe somewhere for many years. Um, but there's a guy out there called TK Garage that's got a lot of insider information about Stellantis. He's saying that they're BYD, the Chinese, are here in the United States looking at some factories. They're looking at some factories in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. They're looking at the brands of Dodge and Ram. They're in Chrysler. They're willing to buy them. So it could get interesting. Could get interesting. I think the auto workers have been sold out to China. That's what's happening. And here in Illinois, Stellantis just got $340 million from our federal government to retrofit the Belvedere Jeep plant that's been sitting empty for about 2.5 years. And I guess they're gonna make some EV vehicle out there. I don't know which one. but they were making the Jeep Laredo out there. They made some Chrysler products out. The factory's been out there for like 30, 40 years. Huge factory right along I-90 heading towards Janesville, Wisconsin. And yeah, got $340 million grant out of the federal government's pocket, folks. You and me paid for that. Why, right? It should be normal commerce, and the best man wins, right? You should be able to fund your own changes at your own factory, but I guess not. So yeah, the auto industry's got some tough times. I know some people that work in the auto industry. I hope that they can have a job going forward. I mean, even Ford has quietly developed an engineering and production facility in Mexico City and employs 20,000 people in Mexico City. So we're seeing there's a sucking sound that's occurring in the auto industry, and it's a huge sucking sound. And it's not bell ringing. It's not bell ringing. So that's all I have for you guys today. Be looking for interest rates to go down, but that may actually spur some inflation. Inflation may start going up again. Racer X says the economy is crazy. Everything has been sold out, and everyone but the Americans are getting help. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. There's not much. The media. There's a media blackout on the migrants here in Chicago. If you look at NBC Chicago's website, the last 2 weeks, it's been 80 to 90% of the news has been about the Olympics. It's like there's nothing happening in the world besides the Olympics. And I know damn well that the shootings and murders and muggings in Chicago are continuing, but they fail to report it. They're reporting all the happy news, right? All the gold medals, the bronze medals, the silver medals, right? Yeah, those Olympians got themselves some silver medals, just like this. I bet you. Important fact here: the gold medal given at the Olympics is worth like about $900, and 90% of it is made out of silver. Go figure. There's a nice fact for you. So lots of silver handed out at the Olympics. So I'm going to end there for today. We'll end this show as we always do with a hand slap and a see ya.